On the last part, Goten and Trunks face off in the final round of the UA Sports Festival. Because Goten registered his quirk as Flight and Super Strength, there's a huge advantage over Trunks in the fact that he was less likely to fall out of the arena. Meanwhile, Trunks registered his quirk as Super Strength Ki Blast. So, unfortunately for Trunks, he could not land a single Ki Blast on Goten during the entire fight. Trunks gets incredibly impatient and decides to take it to the air to fight with Goten. However, Goten was waiting for this. In the air, Goten takes advantage of the fact that Trunks couldn't fly to gain an upper hand and lands a solid punch on Trunks, knocking him out of the arena. Just like that, Goten wins the UA Sports Festival with Trunks in second and Bakugo in third place. Later on, Aizawa shows off the class internship offers, and Midoriya is actually pleasantly surprised this time around. He had a decent amount of offers, having made it to the semi-finals. Midnight and comes in to help the class with hero names as usual, but Goten just sits there wondering whether she should continue Gohan's great Saiyaman legacy, though honestly, he hated Gohan's costume. Next up, the Stain arc begins, and as usual, Indinium is paralyzed from the waist down due to the injury that Stain inflicted on him. However, the next hero Stain pursues isn't actually Native, though Native is still pretty high up on his list. It's actually Chi-Chi this time around. As we all know, Chi-Chi is all about money, and she has started her pro hero career. And the reason she became a pro hero was purely because of greed. Essentially, he's everything that Stain despises. So as usual, Class 1A embarks on their internships, with Goten and Trunks actually following Shoto to Endeavor's agency. Endeavor wanted to see what Goten and Trunks were made of after seeing their dominant performance in the UA Sports Festival. So as usual, Stain's meeting with the League of Villains greatly angers Shigaraki, leading to him releasing Nomus on Hosu City. Midoriya was separated from Gran Torino during the chaos as usual, and decides to go and try to find Lida. This time, Lida stumbles on the fight between Chi-Chi and Stain. His eyes filled with rage, he rushes in to attack Stain as well. Chi-Chi so far was actually winning the fight against Stain due to her superior speed and strength. However, Lida just suddenly rushing in like that gives Stain leverage, as Stain immediately dodges away from Chi-Chi and now has a sword to Lida's neck. He tells Chi-Chi to surrender her life, if not Lida would die. Chi-Chi doesn't know what to do. However, Midoriya's sudden rush in provides Chi-Chi a valuable opening, which he took to knock Stain out. As usual, Stain saves Midoriya from the wing Nomu and then subsequently faints. And after this incident, Chi-Chi is now ranked as the number 15 hero. She resolves that she needed to get stronger if she wanted to rise up to the number 1 hero spot. A villain like Stain shouldn't have given her any trouble at all. Stain's message propagates, and now new villains arise to join the League of Villains. How will things go on from here? Well, this is something we'll find out today on What If Dragon Ball Super Met My Hero Academia. Following the Stain arc, we move into the next arc, aka the final exams arc. The results of the midterm test was painful for Kaminari and Mina as usual, as they both suck at their academics. However, Goten was not out of the woods either. He was ranked 19th out of all the 21 students in Class 1A, even with Midoriya's tutoring. Goten was never really the brightest when it came to academics, much unlike his brother, Gohan. Trunks on the other hand was doing pretty well, having received a prior education from Bulma in Capsule Corporation, ranking 5th, taking over Todoroki's academic position, pushing Todoroki to 6th. Take note that in this case, there are actually 21 students in Class 1A instead of 20, because Mineta was replaced by 2 students, Goten and Trunks. As usual, Momo Yayuruzu, who has the highest grades in the class overall, says that she can help everyone with studying. So, the academic exams pass and everyone now goes and gathers to take their practical exam. This time, all the UA teachers are gathered around and everyone is incredibly nervous. Won't they fighting robots? Nezu then reveals to Class 1A that they'll be not having a battle simulation against robots, but instead against the UA teachers. Everyone was incredibly worried. The UA teachers were all experienced pro heroes. So, how are the matchups like? As usual, Shoto and Momo paired together to face Aizawa, 13 vs Arama and Ochako, President Mike vs Koda and Jiro, Ectoplasm vs Tokoyami and Sui, Snipe vs Nezo and Toru, Cementos vs Rikido and Eijiro, and Power Loader vs Tenya and Eijiro. However, the matchups that are changed are instead of Nezu vs Denki and Mina, we have Nezu vs Denki and Golden, and Midnight vs Mina and Trunks. As we have said before, Golden isn't the brightest, so facing against a smart opponent would probably be a challenge for him. As for Trunks, he was smart but impulsive, and Midnight is actually capable of setting down traps with a quirk, so it might be a test to Trunks' ability to think before he acts. And last but not least, as usual, we have Deku and Bakugo vs All Might. With Deku having one for all at a higher control and Bakugo having also better firepower and skill, All Might is actually up against some tough opponents. However, if you guys have not forgotten, All Might has been training with Goku recently to help strengthen his ki control. So this actually makes him quite powerful in his scrawny and small form as well. So with that, his strength and speed in his buffed up form is even more highly elevated. So in the end, Deku and Bakugo might be the ones that are disadvantaged. So now let the exams begin. So as usual, Aizawa loses to Shoto and Momo, with Koda and Jiro, Tokoyami and Asui, Ochako and Oyama, Tenya and Ojiro all prevailing against their respective teachers. Nothing changes in those tests, so I'm not going to cover it. However, Trunks and Zero vs Midnight plays out very differently. Midnight knows she can't be too cocky here. She witnessed Trunks' immense strength during the UA Sports Festival firsthand and knows that Trunks will definitely beat her in a one-on-one fight. She immediately lays a trap down for Zero and Trunks. Trunks wants to immediately head in to defeat Midnight, but Zero holds him back initially, telling Trunks not to underestimate her. Unfortunately for Zero, Trunks was cocky, and his cockiness eventually prevails over common sense as he rushes straight for Midnight's key signature. However, Midnight immediately let loose a trap, smoke bombs that immediately cover up the entire area. However, this wasn't normal smoke, it was pink colored mist, Midnight's quirk, and Trunks couldn't even make it to Midnight before he collapses and faints. However, Trunks' rush of speed immediately dispersed the entire area, allowing Midnight's pink mist to clear the area, and even while almost unconscious, Trunks could still directly dodge out of Midnight's way due to his ability to sense ki. Zero then comes in to save the day as he binds Midnight before throwing Trunks towards the exit. The adrenaline rush helps to wake Trunks up a little bit, so he runs straight out, allowing them the victory over Midnight. Meanwhile, Nezu vs Goten and Mina also doesn't play out as normal. Originally, Nezu completely dominates both Mina and Kaminari with his superior insight and planning. However, in this case, Goten's quirk isn't what it seemed. Even Nezu couldn't predict that Goten has the ability to sense ki, so Goten could immediately find out Nezu's location, winning the fight for both him and Mina. Now I left the most interesting fight for last, Deku and Bakugo vs All Might. And this is where we'll leave off for now. How will things unfold? Well, these are questions we'll answer in the next part on What is Dragon Ball Super Mad My Hero Academia. Thank you all so much for watching.